Yo, what's going on guys, it's Anime One back here with another video, and today I'm here with another part of What If Naruto Was Neglected and ended up like Obito. So if you guys like the content in the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, also like this video. So let's begin the video. Currently, Danzo was not having the most good time in his life. His Izanagi had been used completely, and he was outplayed by the Uchiha girl, who used the Genjutsu on him to make him think that he had used his Izanagi 9 times, when actually he had used it 10 times. So right now, he was basically powerless, and he was running away from the girl. As he was running away, Suki was walking menacingly behind Danzo. Her Sharingan, or actually her internal Mangekyo Sharingan, glaring at the old man. Her C was the dominant one in this battle. There was no chance in this battle of Danzo winning right from the beginning. She didn't have any strains of the Mangekyo anymore, so she was stronger than ever. Danzo saw the masked man, the one who had taken care of Toru and his other 2 guards that were accompanying him in the Kage summit without any effort. So he gritted his teeth. He couldn't do anything. He removed his chest seal. "I will take you both down with me, even if I fucking die doing so," Danzo said. Naruto absorbed the seal. "That's a tetragram suicide seal. Suki, get back," Naruto said as he started phasing to the ground. Danzo saw this. It was too late to now close the seal. He was gonna die. Well, whatever, he thought, as his whole body exploded. A few minutes before, Gaara, along with the siblings, had actually met up with Kakashi, Yamato, and Menma, and told them the news about the 4th Great Ninja War, and also about Suki. Menma was shocked. Suki had actually attacked the 5 Kage summit. This meant he could not do anything. No matter how strong or how much political power he has in Konoha, if she became a worldwide enemy, there's nothing he could do. He realized that. So, the only option was to kill her, Menma thought, his thoughts becoming more and more darker. I mean, he couldn't blame Suki for her feeling the way that she was. Honestly, he couldn't, because the way that Menma knew that Suki loved Naruto, and because of that, he knew she already had a reason to hate Konoha, but she didn't. But with the truth about Itachi being revealed to her, there was no way in hell that she was gonna forgive the village that easily anymore. And with that, everything was set. His goal in his mind was set. He was gonna end this war once and for all, Menma thought. As Kakashi looked at Menma, he had lost the brightness in his eyes. Kakashi could see that Menma had become completely serious. He saw a glimpse of his older self in Menma and grimaced. He didn't want the boy to turn out like this, but I guess the shinobi world does that to you. I'm the prime example, Kakashi thought. Few days later in Konoha, Tsunade was lying in her bed. Her hands twitched. Shizune noticed that, as she immediately performed the medical ninjutsu, and Tsunade woke up. She heard about the 4th Great Ninja War and about Jiraiya's death. Kushina had also woken up, and she could not believe it. So many people had died in that battle, Mifune, and also Jiraiya Sensei. She thought. The first thought that came in her mind was Minato, and he had also woken up from his coma. It was like the masked man had planned all this out. He guessed. The masked man wanted Danzo to go to the Five Kage Summit, then use that as Suki's anger fuel, and then make her kill Danzo so that she can get a little taste of revenge against Konoha, then act upon that anger and make her completely on his side. That was Mina's thought. He was also informed about the fourth great ninja war that was about to happen, and he needs to prepare his troops. He was angry at the masked man. He was downright furious. He killed his sensei, Jiraiya, and Tsunade was no better. She was acting calm, but she was very pissed. The next time that she sees that masked man, she swore to herself that she would get vengeance for Jiraiya. In the mountainside graveyard, Naruto was sitting on a rock as he sensed someone coming. "How long are you gonna stay there?" Naruto said, as a person jumped out. It was Kabuto. Kabuto Yakushi. Huh. Akatsuki do not accept traitors. I hope you know that you're gonna die if you have come to face me, Naruto said. Kabuto just shook his head. No, I actually want to negotiate. I want to help you in destroying the five great nations, said Kabuto. The masked man narrowed his single eye at the boy. And what isn't it this for you? You will just not do anything, and what can you provide me that I cannot do it myself? Said Madara as Kabuto slammed his hand. Summoning reanimation jutsu, he said. As soon as he did that, several coffins rose from the ground and their lids dropped. Naruto widened his eyes a little bit at seeing all those figures. There was the rest of the Akatsuki. That's the Akatsuki. So, this is your deal. Not impressed, said Naruto. I alone possess the power to kill all these fools if I need to. Why do I need your help? Give me a proper explanation again, said Naruto as he looked at him. And also, what do you want in return? You will not just do this for any other reason, will you? Naruto said. Kabuto chuckled. You are smart as ever, I guess. It is befitting for someone who claims to be Madara Uchiha. Naruto narrowed his eyes. The way the boy said it, it looks like this will make you back down, he said, as he slammed his ground, and a single coffin rose, and the lid dropped. Naruto's eyes widened. That's... How did you get that? Naruto said, as Kabuto chuckled. Well, don't worry, I have not leaked your secret to anyone. You just have to cooperate with me, that's all, said Kabuto. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man. You think just because you showed that to me, you are scaring me. Boy, I already have established myself as a bigger threat, strong as Madara Uchiha, and even if you showed them, they would unite against me. Your plans are futile, said Naruto. That may be as it is, but if I turn Madara against you, then what will you do? Said Kabuto, smirking. You are a fool. What makes you think that I cannot defeat Madara? I claim to be him for a reason, you know, Naruto said. Kabuto now was sweating. He didn't expect this. He thought as soon as he showed him the real Madara's coffin or his body, the masked man would back down. But Naruto said, I still have some stuff to do, and I want you to keep that body safe. I want to revive him myself, and for that, I need a nice pair of eyes. Naruto said, as he started walking. You and I will have a partnership, and after the war is over, very well, I will hand Sugi Uchiha over to you. I don't have any use of her anyway, Naruto said, as he started vanishing in a swirling vortex. Zetsu came out of the ground, beside Kabuto. You need to revive Madara. Things aren't going exactly how he planned. This is not what Madara wanted. And how did he change his mind all of a sudden? Something happened, said Black Zetsu as he looked at Kabuto. As I said, you can revive Madara whenever you want, but be careful. The boy is very smart, even smarter than you, said Black Zetsu as he started vanishing in the ground. So that's it, huh? Naruto thought, as he was just peeking from behind the wall and listening to the conversation. That the person who was vanishing in the swirling vortex was just a clone, and his original self was standing behind the wall the entire time. His clone was the one who talked with Kabuto. He knew that Black Zetsu was the one who was backstabbing him. That fool. He is gonna die, be dead anyways. But before that, Naruto thought, as he, in a puff of smoke, he slammed his palm in his wrist, and the sword that he stole from the Minato clan appeared. If what the Shinigami said was truth, this is gonna be the key to achieve six-path Senjutsu without actually getting the Jubi. I already have power of the 8-tailed beast that I need. All I need is Menma's power. Only a little portion would get the job done. And this is enough to acquire nature energy. And the other thing, Naruto thought as he thought about those eyes, the eyes of his grandfather. I will need those in order to evolve my Rinnegan. Naruto thought as he started vanishing in the swirling vortex. He knew where he needed to go. Day after day, storm after storm, Conan waited for him to come. Overlooking the rain-cloudy sky, rain upon the streets and the skyscrapers of Rome, Conan smiled. The view wasn't unnecessarily anything special. It rained, same every day. However, this was the very same rain that she grew up until this point. The rain symbolized home. It reminded her of the closest person to her. Looking at the sky, she didn't see clouds. She saw a blur of orange, red, blue, gray. She saw herself, Yahiko, Nagato, walking in the heavy rain towards their hideout. She saw herself and her two closest friends laugh at their sensei, wearing ridiculous toad costume. It was a memory so innocent. It reminded them that not everything has happened to her was bad. She met them. Conan now lived by what she, Yahiko, and Nagato always dreamed about while growing up: peace. Yet Nagato trusted the seemingly endless the search of peace to Menma Uzumaki as his dying wish. Hence, her final resolve to help Menma achieve such a thing at all cost. It didn't matter what the cost may be, but she was willing to give up her own life if it meant stopping that man behind the destruction, Uchiha Madara. She was waiting to confront Mother ever since he came back from her and Nagato's invasion from Konoha after he died. He meant everything to her, as was Yahiko, and now they're both gone. She not only lived by the remains of their old age memory of peace, the old memory blurred back into the reality upon seeing a familiar chakra signature suddenly appear behind her. Conan didn't need to know who it was. She knew. Madara has finally come. Looking for something? Conan asked, knowing all too well what he was looking for. Where did you put Nagato's body? The imaginary clock was ticking, and for every second that passed, between their growing tension, she knew that the moment was near. All those stimulations she went through the past few days, all the analysis of Madara's Sharingan, this was all to prepare herself to battle against one of the most dangerous shinobi she had ever faced. It's not here, she said. Just a few moments. Conan closed her eyes, letting herself expand into hundreds of sheets of paper. She traveled across the skyscrapers of the rain village, heading towards the lake. She decided to confront Madara. The lake was just not water. It had 6 billion explosive tags in it. Upon arriving in the middle of the rain village's lake, Madara stated solemnly, "The renegade, it looks like you won't tell me where Nagato's body is. I knew that you would appear before me. I've been waiting so I could kill you," Conan said. Conan's face remained calm, but her eyes stated otherwise. During the past few weeks, she felt heartbroken, angry, but all in all, she felt determined. Her eyes were open to see the bigger picture, and that did not include Madara on her side. Not anymore. I won't show you any mercy, just because you were a former comrade, he warned. Akatsuki doesn't forgive traitors. Conan brushed it off. She didn't want his mercy. They both knew this wasn't a simple battle. They both knew there was a battle of life or death. One will die, or both. Conan wasn't scared of death anymore. She has experienced it in many two ways now. One question though, he added. Why did members such as yourself betray me? Both you and Nagato supposedly agreed with my plans. Uzumaki, Menma, do you think he's worth all that? He is light, she responded without hesitation. That is why everyone possesses a flower of hope. She raised her arms towards him as more pieces of paper started expanding from her hand. The sound of rain and the sound of her heartbeat was all that she could hear right now. While you tried to go against me, you're still wearing those robes, Madara points out. It seems that you have a lingering affection for the Akatsuki. Akatsuki was found by Yahiko, Konan responded, her heart feeling anger. These clouds is the symbol of the rain of blood that ascended upon the rain village during the war period. He just came in for the ride. These clothes are our right, not yours. The renegade was awakened by Nagato, a shinobi of the rain village. More papers appeared around her. His eyes are this village's treasure, she said. Paper Suri can attack Madara, but to no avail. He just as he turned intangible. You misunderstood two things, he said. I'll tell you concerning that you'll be dead anyway. The one who made Yagiko create the Katsuki was me. The one who gave Nagato the renegade was also me. From where I'm standing, you're just a clueless little girl. Conan's golden eyes widen. It couldn't be. But right now, you're a little girl that knows the location of Nagato. Although it wouldn't matter once I capture you. Don't underestimate the power of the Uchiha, little girl. Z wasn't a little girl. Not only did she grow up by the years, but from what she had seen and from what she had experienced in all these years her life, she was a woman, a powerful kunoichi capable of fending off herself, capable of following her own ideals no matter what the outcome of this battle may end up. She will fight for those close to her heart, Yaiko, Nagato, and now Menma. He summoned more paper. It swiftly took up shape of wings. Conan was determined. She was set. This was the moment to do it. Now, Conan wings thrust up into the air and headed towards Madara as the paper began to surround him on all sides. There's no escaping now, she thought. Suddenly, Madara grabbed her by the throat, finding her location at the midst of the paper around them. But it was too late. An exploding tag were mixed into the paper. There was no way Madara could be able to pull them all into his kamui. Nagato. Yahiko, she thought. I'll take you to the other world with me, she said. Boom. A huge explosion happened. After the smoke cleared out, Conan was panting. And Madara, well, the top half of his mask was broken, and now he was looking at Conan with a glare. It seems I've underestimated you, Madara said. No matter how it looks, you still are a former member of the Akatsuki. Seems you were trying to take me out with a societal bombing when I tried to absorb you, but you failed. I absorbed the explosion. I was faster, although I did take a small blow, Madara said, glaring at the girl. With that, your secret plan has ended, isn't it? Conan looked at him and spoke. Madara, let me ask you something. What? He said. Do you know why we betrayed you? Do you know why we decided to trust Menma? Conan asked. Madara looked at her with an uninterested look. Beats me. That's your problem. Menma's only a brat who's chasing an immature dream. True peace and hope. I can see why Nagato would fall for such ideals. But you, Conan. I noticed when I met Menma, you are darkness, she said, waving her hand. A world without light, flowers will only wither. Conan screamed. Madara's eyes widened when he felt the water below him dissipate into a sea of papers. Madara started to fall. He grabbed his mask and offered to warp himself away, but the paper bomb stuck to his body, forcing him to let those paper bombs phase right through him. Looks like your space-time ninjutsu failed. I haven't stood idly by your side all this time. When you absorb yourself, you have to materialize your body, and absorbing yourself is slower than absorbing others, Conan said. Madara, who got out of the explosion, glared at her. That's how she wants to play, he thought, as gray rib grates formed around him, and its stars slowly started getting skin, and at last it had an armor. This is Sanos to keep me safe from all those paper bombs while I teleport out of here, Madara thought. Conan, who saw this, gritted her teeth. I never knew he had a power like this. This normal explosion won't work in that case, she thought. You can let yourself phase through anything for 5 minutes. Even with that, you have to protect you. Won't be able to protect yourself and withstand the explosion of 600 billion paper bombs, Conan said as he clenched her fist. Madara gritted his teeth, since he knew she was saying the truth. Without going all out with his internal Mangekyo, or using that, he couldn't. His armor Susano couldn't withstand such a thing. Looks like I have no choice, he thought as he ripped the other part of his mask off, showing his other Mangekyo Sharingan. They were not your pawns. Nagato and Yahiko did everything because of their own beliefs, and now Menma carries them. She thought, I won't let it interfere. The explosions lasted for at least 30 minutes. Conan panted. He was exhausted. The jutsu took more chakra than expected, but at least Madara is. She thought, but her eyes widened when a voice came from behind her. Dead? Marta was standing right behind Konohan, with a rod right through her stomach. How? She asked. Marta chuckled. My left Mangekyo. It's a Uchiha forbidden jutsu. Only someone who has the power of both Uchiha and Senju can unlock such a strong Mangekyo ability. My right eye grants me the ability to use space-time ninjutsu, calmly at short range and long range, while my right eye grants me the ability to stop time itself for 2 seconds, while I can only use this ability once every day. But it comes in handy, doesn't it, Conan? How? The power of both Chi and Senju, that's the six paths power. But I know you don't have that power, she said. Madara's left eye started to glow as it changed. Conan eyes widened when she saw those ripple eyes with those purple ripple eyes. And since you're a former comrade, I'll tell you. The sage of the six paths was the only one who possessed the Rinnegan, except me. As you can see, the sage of the six paths had 2 sons, Indra and Asura. Those 2 sons were the exact forefather of the Uchiha and Senju clans. The Uchiha and Senju are the direct descendant of the sage himself, and so is the Uzumaki clan. So, in theory, if you combine all those 3 clans together, you should be able to achieve this power, said Madara as he ripped the rod out of her. Just what in the world are you? Conan asked. Madara Uchiha is said to have lost the battle against Senju Hashirama, but is that really the truth? Victors are those who plan ahead. The true contest starts now. Our battle was just to obtain his power. I am Madara Uchiha, who possess the power of both Uzumaki, Senju, and Uchiha. I am unique. I am the second sage of the six paths. Madara said, you can repent together in the afterlife for placing your faith in Menma's pointless ideals. There is no such thing as true peace. There is no such thing as hope. Nagato only believed Menma to find solace in his pathetic existence. Hearing that, Conan's eyes widened as he clutched the wound in her stomach. She remembered the time that she had with them. Nagato placing her faith in Menma. She turned around, but to her surprise, she was held by a grey skeleton hand. She looked around to see Madara with the Susanoo activated. Now you'll tell me where Nagato's Rinnegan is, he said as the EMS started spinning as Conan's body became stiff. Time skip. In the darn graveyards, Madara walked out of the underlying base and found Kabuto waiting for him and looking for him. Looks like you had a bit of trouble in the rain, but by the looks of it, you've got upgradation in your eyes, Kabuto said with a smirk. You could say that, but as far as I'm concerned, They were mine to begin with anyway, Madara replied. Well, either way, I'm sure your power has greatly exceeded even the originals, Kabuto replied. You could say that. On the other note, I think it's time we start this war, Madara said darkly. Well, it looks like things are gonna get interesting and a lot more exciting around here, Kabuto said with a smirk. At the location of the joint Allied Shinobi forces, Gaara and the 5 other division commanders were looking over the massive clear that was now full of brim with shinobi and samurai. Unfortunately, there was not much to love lost between the ninjas from the villagers. Old prejudice ran too deep. Small arguments had broken down when all they were split up by small bursts of sand. We do not have time to be fighting amongst ourselves. It's time for us to unite a chance for a better future. 3 times now we have fought world wars for our nations, our own villages, and we have heard the other ones. The hatred and the lust for power created me. I was a Jinchuriki, the embodiment of hatred, and because of that I hated the world and all its people in it. I wanted to destroy it with my own hands, just like the Akatsuki, but I was stopped by one man, one ninja from Konoha. I was his enemy and I killed his brother, yet he cried for me. I heard him and he still called me his friend. He saved me, my fellow Jinchuriki. He may have not suffered, but his brother suffered the same fate that I did, and he will bore no ill will towards anyone. There are no enemies here because we have all suffered to the Akatsuki's hand. So there is no Suna, Iwa, Konoha, Kiri, or Kumo. There is only Shinobi, and if you hold grudges against the sand, then once this war is over, you can come and take my head instead, Gaara said, looking out and over the thousands of ninjas that were listening intently to what Gaara said. Not bad, kid. They don't look like fighting each other anymore, Kakashi thought. The Akatsuki are after my friend, and who saved my life. If it takes him, if we allow the enemy to get their hands on him, the world as we know it will come to an end. I want to protect him. I want to protect our world. But I'm young, and I cannot do it alone. Please, fight with me. Lend me your strength. Now is the time to strike back and make the Akatsuki pay for what they have done to this world. Now, everyone, this is the time. Let's go, Gaara said, earning a huge roar from the agreement from the crowd. Everyone around were small symbols of forgiveness being passed between the ninjas of rare villages. Up above, Gaara and the other generals, Onoki, Ei, Minato, were standing and watching the army move out of their way. So it begins, said Onoki. Yes, the 4th Great Ninja War is upon us, and we're definitely going to win, he said. Giant graveyards. So, we're beginning the war, are we? Kabuto said. Yes, I will send the word for the White Zetsu to move out at once, Madara said. Then I guess it's time for me to get to work. Staring at the dices, members of the Akatsuki, then the old Jinchuriki, the Kages, finally a large group of well-known ninjas from the elemental nations, and some that I picked for the sole purpose of causing emotional distress within the key members of the enemy, Kabuto said as dozens of coffins rose up from all over the earth. Well then, let's take advantage of this sort of setup. A welcoming surprise for the joint Allied Shinobi forces. Sashiri, you and Deidara will go and ambush the army as it approaches with bombs and traps, Madara said. The Akatsuki must be in a bad way. This is all my replacement, and Zetsu. The sorcerer said. I won't go too arrogant considering that you died, Sasori-sama. Deidara added. You want to die too? Sasori replied. I'm already fucking dead, Deidara replied again. Are you sure this is going to work out? They're becoming like children, Madara said. But controlling this many bodies is a tad difficult, I admit. But the longer the jutsu, the holds, more control I should get. And if I need to, I can just erase all their personalities if they become difficult. However, I have doubts that will be a problem. Kabuto reassured the masked man. We are going to march 100,000 Jetsus towards the ground. There is no need to give us a complete way. Now it is a time to move. Let's begin the war, Mara said loudly.